I'm going to talk just a little bit about, because I know it's difficult for you to understand or even comprehend or even contemplate the fact that some of these things you can't trust. And I made the analogy in one video a long time ago about deception and about the fact that deception in many instances is merely equating two things that are not equatable and teaching you and me that these two things are the same. And I use the example of medicine and health, and the fact that your doctor knows everything about medicine because that's what he was trained in. And they try to make you think that medicine and health are the same thing when they are not. The same thing is true about religion. You think that religion and God are the same thing, and they are not. The organized church, you get taught religion, but God is a different thing. And knowing what religion is like and participating in religion is very much different than knowing God. And I know that because I was a part of that religion for longer than most of you have been alive. And I've been thinking about ways to give you an example. And I do want to clarify one thing, because I say this quite often, that they don't know God. And that's probably too much for you to accept. And Paul says in Romans that, and this is how I probably need to start phrasing it, they know God not as God. And that's why I spend so much time telling you, I want you to worship God as God in all that that means. And don't give him characteristics that are dramatically beneath who he is. But I'm going to give this example to you to try to get you to see, because as you know, I'm not going to a church building. I mean, you guys, many years ago, y'all talked me into going on Father's Day or something, but I'm not doing that. And you need to understand why. And I've said in many videos, they don't know God. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that we hear of a place that is praising Nana. There's a place that people go every week and they praise Nana. And we're like, oh, well, okay, that sounds pretty good. Let's go there. And so we go and we get there and they start and they're singing these songs. And they're saying all of these things, man, how Nana's such a great mom and such an amazing Nana, and how she's a wonderful cook, and her personality and the love that she shares. They're singing these songs and they're praising her in all of these ways. Like, wow. Okay. And then that goes on for a period of time. And then a guy gets up and he starts talking and he says, we need to get into, Nana more deeply and understand some things about her that we don't always like to sing about. And he said, with Nana's kids, she understood that they needed discipline, and they needed to, when they acted out, they needed to be brought under control. And so this is not, everybody doesn't talk about this all the time, but when they acted up, she had a harsh hand. And they deserved it. They deserved the harsh hand that she gave them. And what she would do is she would handcuff them to their beds. And she would do this for 2 or 3 days at a time. It was for their betterment. It was so that they would understand how wrong they were and, change their thinking. And, if they got worse, if they didn't, she would do it even longer. And these things, you think about it, they're no food, no ability to use the restroom, to go to the restroom. Am I going back to that place next week? Nope. Why not? Because that guy speaking doesn't know Nana. He may think he does, he may act like he does, but he doesn't know Nana. So I'm not going to listen to him talk about Nana. Now, what else can I conclude from that experience? What can I conclude about the people seated in the seats, listening to him week after week? What can I conclude? They don't know Nana either. Because if they truly knew Nana, they're not listening to that. Just like you would not go back and listen to that. I don't care how many praise songs they sing. I don't care what attitude they portray toward Nana. They clearly don't know her. Now, who's going to set them straight? They think they know. They all tell each other that they know. they think that if Nana came, she would be pleased to listen to this. That they are worshiping her, praising her. No, they don't know her. They've heard of her. Somebody said something about her at some point and they've taken it and run with it, but they don't know her because the characteristics that they give her, not all of them, they're giving her some good characteristics, but the characteristics that they give her are blasphemous to her. Clearly. And they do not represent who she is, what she's like. They're false. So again, that's why I don't go back. And I'm not going back. And I've told you many times, if you've got somebody in a building with 2,000 people there every Sunday to listen to him, he's not telling you truth. He may be a great life coach, or that may be what it is, how you can improve your life or whatever. But he's not talking about God. Just like that person wasn't talking about Nana. He may think he was, because he doesn't know her. But the few people who truly know her, they're not listening to that. Because they know it's not true. They know Nana in a different way. So as I say, and as I've said, I'm going to put this in all the messages. The message that you need to hear and the message that you need to speak. You need to be an ambassador of reconciliation. You need to be telling people about the transcendent grace of God, the finished work of Jesus Christ, the conciliation of man to God, that God was in Christ, conciliating the world to himself. He was never unreconciled to the world, but man in his own mind was not reconciled to God. He thought God was mad at him. You think God expects all of these things out of you. God has conciliated you to him. He's shown you through Jesus Christ that you can approach him, that there is nothing that is stopping you from being conciliated to him. And lastly, the salvation of all, which is the ultimate outcome of all of this. It's the ultimate outcome of God's plan. So I encourage you to worship God as God in all that that means. And anytime you have an idea that brings God down to your level, you need to cast that away. Because, as I've said 1 billion times, God is not a little better version of you. God is God. And his plan through the ages is glorious. And it doesn't need anything from you. Because he's God. I love you all.